There are many cool things that I have collected and found in my world. Some of them you might know about, and some of them you might have no idea that they ever happened. For example, how did I actually get the blue axolotl? Because those are so ridiculously rare, and I actually came up with 2 strategies to get it. What about the brown panda, where I literally had to remember my biology lessons in science on how alleles work to actually breed one? And then there's a strategy where I managed to find a way to kind of x-ray for notch apples in vanilla Minecraft, no cheats, no mods, nothing. Only the OGs of this series are going to know about some of these, so make sure you subscribe to this channel. It's for bonus content to do with Hardcore World and other Minecraft stuff. And this is how I get a blue axolotl. Well, moving swiftly on, time to get that blue axolotl. I'm also going to change the walls to be iron blocks so that the axolotl is easier to see. And there we go, this room is finished. Just need to grab a couple of buckets of water and start filling it up. There we go, completely full. Now time to block all of this up. And if I move her over in this direction, when I come back, there should be axolotls. And there we go, we've got some. And now for the next part of the mechanism. First I'm going to dig out a tunnel, then I'm going to place walls like this. And these are going to go up very high indeed. I'm 100 blocks up, that should probably be enough. Next I'm going to fill in this bit using glass. If you couldn't tell, I'm just basically making this up as I go along. Let's add some water right here, and the next thing I need in the build is kelp, and the ocean is the perfect place to find that. All of that is definitely going to be enough. Next I put down kelp going all the way to the top, break all of that, and then put down some water at the bottom here. And I can look in here, okay, no blue axolotls, so we just jump here. It's going to take me all the way up. Then I can chill up here for a little bit, and when I want to drop back down, I just go like this, land in the water, and see what new axolotls we've got. If on average I get 3 axolotls per time, then that means I'm going to have to do this 400 times. Also, that water keeps freezing, and I lost a totem because of it. Thankfully, for a short amount of time, this was a torch farm, so I have a few torches, and that will stop any more freezing from happening. So now I'm going to spend the next few days going up and down here, until I get the blue axolotl to show up. And I'm also going to build this up a little bit more because it doesn't quite go high enough. And there we go, the extension is complete. I guess I'll see you when I've got the blue one. I've been trying for ages, still no blue axolotl. We've got one! We have got a blue axolotl! Oh my goodness, this took so long. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've been up and down that spout, but alright, let's get this guy in a bucket so that he can't despawn. There we go! Blue axolotl has been obtained. I may have been unsuccessful in getting powdered snow, but at least I did something right. Next on the agenda, track down some pandas. We've got 2 right here, and if I dig a bit of a hole and lure them into it, perfect. I then need to plant some bamboo around them, and the breeding process can be started. And now there's not much else I can do except breed loads and loads of these guys. I worked out because this panda here is a playful one, the hidden gene is playful, which is pretty good in my chance to get a brown panda. I just have to get lucky with a mutation. And pandas that are of no use to me can come through here. The breeding continues. I expect us to have hundreds and hundreds of pandas before we get what we want. This is another playful one, so you're coming through here. Let's breed some more and see what happens. I did not expect panda breeding to be this complicated. I bred loads of pandas down here and they've all now been released. And from there I got 2 weak pandas and bred loads and loads and loads of them. Then every 5 minutes I would breed some more pandas and end up with loads of baby ones. Now there is a 1 in 32 chance for a panda to randomly mutate, and if it has mutated I'll be able to tell because it will look different. You see, this guy is a mutant, so we put him in a boat, okay, just like that. And all the rest of these baby ones, well, we'll just get rid of... No, I'm kidding, don't worry. All the babies will come this way, towards the trapdoors and in with all the other pandas. And one day they will be released. Now, all of these pandas are mutants, and 1 in 8 mutant pandas has a brown panda gene, so one of these has probably got the brown panda gene. And if I was to breed 2 of those together, I've got a 1 in 4 chance of getting a brown panda. Yeah, that's how stupid it is. I'm taking a break. I finally made it. Here are all my pandas. So let's breed a load more and separate out the mutants. There's also no sign in my treasure shulker box, which is very worrying. The only mutant is this one right here. The next thing I'm going to do is spleef a weak panda down here. And I'm going to breed that weak panda with one of these pandas, and it'll help me to see... Don't die, you stupid panda. But after a few attempts, that will then let me see which panda carries the worried gene. But I've done loads and loads more selective breeding, and I have a load more mutants. And I think I can now release the pandas from the boats and start trying to get the brown panda. And I'm also going to separate out all the weak pandas, you know, without killing them. Instead, I'll just lead them into here. And I think that this is the final weak panda to come in here. Now all the pandas are released, I'm going to try and mix them all up and randomly breed them all, and hopefully we get some brown ones eventually by doing this. Because the way I've done this, most of these pandas either have the normal gene, the brown gene, or the weak gene. And I do need to get rid of all the offspring that is not a brown panda. So about 1 in 4 of these pandas are going to have the brown panda gene. And I need to get lucky and breed 2 of those together, and then 1 in 4 times of those 2 breeding together, you get a brown panda. So, you know, this is just such a difficult thing. And finally, we have got one. We have got the brown panda. And we got 2. Oh my goodness, we got 2. Okay, fine. I tell you what, what are the chances of getting 2 in one thing? So I guess that now means that the saga is over. I I can finally stop breeding pandas. Look, we can put these two together. There we go. All these random pandas that I have hidden around, they can all be released from their cages and they can come outside. And the same goes for all these pandas that were trapped up here. They shall all be released into the jungle. Yep, pandas are definitely not an endangered species anymore. And I'll be back for these two brown pandas later. Finally, I found a goat. You shall be the chosen one. And I'm going to warn you now, this will be a stressful journey and you probably will die. But sometimes I've just got to do what I've got to do. This is probably a recipe for disaster, but we are going to head on up and then fly home. As long as I can see the leader, I know he's still there. This has been a pretty successful flight. Let's just make it a successful landing. There we go. And we can do it all over again. And away we go again. Feel like this landing is going to be a little bit more dangerous. So we just got to commit to the water. This goat is still alive. And from now on, the journey will be on foot. We've gone as far as we can on land, but it's time to sail in a boat. This is much, much easier than it was dragging him across land. The first signs of civilization are ahead. And finally, we have made it home sweet home. Now, you're probably wondering why I brought you all this way. Well, just let me head down here, grab some wheat, and breed you together. I take it you need to be off the leads for this to work. Yeah, okay, you do. Now, this baby goat has a 2% chance of being a screaming one. And I don't care how long it takes me, I am going to get one. Can I put you guys here for a second? Because I'll have to build some sort of system to make this work. And that system will not be right by my house. I'm not listening to screaming goats all day. Instead, this poor trapped snow golem can. So right here is where the goats are going to be bred. Bear with me on this one, guys. I'm completely making this up as I go along. The adult goats won't fit through this gap, but the baby goats will. Once down here, they will fall onto water, which will be right here. It will flow along like so. And as they go along, each one will be put into... Okay, that is not meant to happen. As we're saying, each one will be put into a boat. Also, what kind of a crazy attack is going on here? I don't know who you guys think you are. I'm just over there and you're going to attack my house. I better grab a bucket of milk and get rid of you, drink the milk, and deal with the rest of you. And this goat can refill my bucket. Now to build the exact same thing on this side and collect up the goats. This is basically the only thing that could go wrong. But look at that. The plan worked perfectly. What on earth? You just jumped straight out. I forgot goats could jump. Get yourself back in there. None of that. And for the next part of the operation, we're going to need a load of wheat. All of this will be perfect. And then to do a load of feeding and breeding. I have lined up all of the boats that we need for this experiment. Let's get ourselves a screaming goat. I also have a serious lack of wheat, but lots and lots of bone meal. That means I can grow this, harvest it, and regrow it all extremely, extremely fast. Got exactly one stack from that, and I'm just going to feed it all to this baby one to make it grow. These slabs are also completely useless, so now all 4 of them have grown. I can break this, breed them, and start collecting baby goats. Well, guys, I've been busy. I have bred hundreds and hundreds of these goats, and whilst I was moving these over here, I heard a screaming goat. I don't know which one it is. Did you just hear it just then? So now I'm going to nip to my house, grab a bunch of fencing, and put them in a bit of a pen, and put all the non-screaming goats over here. And I think this little fella is the screaming goat. There we go, did you hear that? It just does a weird scream. And so you are going to live with the goat of Minecraft. And you'll be called Screamer. It's just such a funny sound that they make. So the new method to get notch apples really fast. Firstly, we're going to have to head to spawn and turn on the mob switch. You don't have to use a mob switch for this, but it does make it much, much easier. I've flown away to some brand new chunks, and then I need to drop my render distance all the way down to 2. Turn on chunk borders and press Shift and F3 to set up something called Pyre. Then I need to reload the world, and I can use that chart on the bottom right to know when a mob spawner comes in. You see, we've got one there, and I'll put a more detailed explanation in the description, but it tells me that basically in this chunk, there is a dungeon. Right now, the M counter is 79, and now that's gone up to 80. Because the mob switch is on, that must mean that the dungeon is somewhere around here. Because the only way mobs can spawn is from a mob spawner. On average, 1 in 20 dungeons will have a notch apple. We break all of these, and now the dungeons and chests on the bottom right have disappeared. This method is usually used for finding fortresses, but I came with this way myself to find dungeons. This time it didn't take me to a dungeon, it actually took me to a mineshaft. Minecart chest here. It's even rarer to find them in a mineshaft chest. And so now I'll put a timer on screen and see just how many dungeons I can find in 30 minutes. The first dungeon, and a second one, the third, the fourth, the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and the ninth. That's all I've managed to get so far. It's been a little bit slow this time, which can happen if they're bunched together or you're not doing it always over the ocean. Made it to my 10th one, dungeon 11, number 12. Now that I've got in the groove, I seem to be finding them much, much faster. And 13 are now done. We're really speeding up. We need about 20 dungeons on average to get the notch notch apple. So 7 more to go. Starting to lose count, but I think this is 14. 15. I have to say, I'm smashing it. We're on 16. Although I still can't work out if this is faster than searching desert pyramids. So I believe we're now 18 in. And so far, RNG has not been on my side. 19 in total. And that's a grand total of 20. We just keep looking. And in the 24th one, I found the notch apple. Slightly worse than the average should have been, but that's mission successful. Only took me an hour. Now I'll make my way home and search for dungeons on the way. I've just found some deep slate coal ore, which is actually a really, really rare one. And also the rare other side disc. And I'm very pleased to put notch apple number 23 into the ender chest. For no particular reason, I just want to mine out an entire chunk. It's something that I've never done in actual vanilla survival before, but it's just one of those things that's kind of on my list of things to do. It's probably not going to have any use, but it's going to be a cool thing to have. And this is also where the beacon comes in, because with this I will be able to get haste 2. There we go. And mining out the chunk will be much, much faster. After a few days of mining, this pickaxe is almost broken. We've made it down to level 30. There's still a bit of a way to go, but we first need to repair it. And the best place for that is the Guardian farm. I'm also going to add this to here so that I can change these to be splash ones. And then I can just easily do this and start collecting all the XP for my pickaxe. It did not take long to completely mend everything. It would also seem that somehow the machine has completely run out of water bottles. So once I've patched up this floor, I'll fill all of these glass bottles up and start putting them in these chests. And now the machine is back to working exactly as it should do. Let's just do one more to get myself up to level 584. There we go, and it's going to be back to mining the chunk. And I have actually come up with a plan of what I'm going to do with this chunk once it's mined, but you'll probably have to wait until the next episode to see what it's going to be. Turns out mining this chunk has taken me into an abandoned mine shaft. I wonder if there's anything useful down here. Well, I have found a chest. Okay, well, that wasn't really useful. And here's another one. Maybe a little bit better, but if it's not got a notch apple, I'm not really interested. There's a third chest up ahead, and it has... Wait, how's it got glowberries in? I'm guessing it's because in Minecraft, chest loot doesn't generate until you actually open the chest. So even though these chunks were loaded way before 1.17, it still had 1.17 items, which I suppose is a better way of doing it, but we're definitely going to have to board up this mine shaft where we're not going to be going down there. Although having said that, I did just go down there. What I mean is we're not going to be going down there again. Apparently, I've dug a load of strip mines down here, and it's causing loads and loads of mobs to spawn. So I'm going to quickly fly away and activate the mob switch. And now that mobs can't spawn, I can start lighting these tunnels up. For quite a bit of time, but I've lit up every of these top tunnels, and there's quite a few bottom ones. I think I'm going to do those as well. Kind of got completely lost, and I've just realised I'm basically just placing torches for the sake of it at this point. Like, there's all these dark caves below me anyway, so I don't really know why, you know. If I was going to light up all those tunnels, I might as well light up all these, and I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to try and find my way out of here. And this area does look familiar. Yeah, I've already been in that chest. And that chest as well. And over there was the third chest. So by my calculations, the way out should be, yeah, right here. And now it's back to mining for me. Although apparently I've lost the haste because we're too low from that beacon. Since there is still quite a bit of mining left to be done, I think the best thing I can do is move the beacon down lower. Here is the new beacon all ready to go, which means it's now back to mining. At long last, I'm starting to see bedrock. And look at that, we've found some diamonds. Isn't it amazing that I had to mine an entire chunk just to find a few diamonds? A few diamonds that I'm inevitably just gonna end up burning. Because remember guys, diamonds are for peasants. And I think I've now mined every mineable block in this entire chunk. A pretty cool achievement, but for the rest of my plan to work, I would need to get rid of all the bedrock, and I'm not going to do that right now. Looks pretty cool from up here as well. It just looks like my world has glitched or something and deleted a chunk.